All right, guys, today we are going to break down a deal with you guys live. Now, this is one that we actually purchased, but before I get into that, we're going to walk through and I'm going to explain exactly how I go through my process when I'm looking at whether or not to buy a bird deal or a flip. And today we're going to focus on a flip, and I'm going to break it down step by step exactly how I went through this process, what things I was looking for, how I made my decision, and I'll even get into some of the things that we're doing in the middle of this flip as we're in process to help even increase some of the profitability on this thing. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so the first thing I'm doing, this is a deal that self-promoting here a little bit, but we sent out to our buyers list at Wisconsin Discount Properties. If you're not on our buyers list, it's the hands down the best buyers list to be on in the country, in my opinion, and I am a little biased. But I say that because we give so much information. So even if you're out here, you're watching this video for a reason because you want to learn how to do deals, this is the best way to start learning how to do deals. You join our buyers list, it's free, and you start getting access to all of this information, guys. So what I'm looking at here, this is an example of one of the deals that we had sent out for a few weeks back, and this is called the deal release for the week. And so in this week, we had 7 deals. I'm going to show you guys this first deal because this is the one that we actually ended up purchasing. Now, nobody offered on this deal, guys. So I put it out to you on the buyers list, and if nobody offers on it, then I run my numbers again, and if I like it, at that point, I buy the deal. And so I'm going to show you guys, this is a missed opportunity from thousands of people on our buyers list that did not offer anything on this deal. I don't know why, but because we're going to show you why this deal makes sense in a second here. But I'm going to take you guys through the breakdown of this thing. So the first thing I'm looking at is there's a lot of information on here. It's going to give us a little breakdown of this is our minimum suggested offer price, kind of like a list price, okay? Then we've got a little bit of details of the property. Okay, we got a newer AC and furnace. We got a 2-stall detached garage, which we can see here in the picture. We got a little over an acre lot, so a nice big lot. Right in the town, Manitowoc. Here's the address. There's a link to the video. But if I just click on this picture, what it's going to do is it brings me to this buyer resource folder. So again, for those of you guys out here who are just starting out, you want to learn how to run numbers, this is a great way to start, even if you're not ready to purchase yet. All right. So one of the things we're going to do, we're going to look at this inspection report. Okay. So we at Wisconsin Discount Properties, we hire a third-party home inspector. So you can see Bastin Home Inspections. These guys are like the toughest guys too. It's not like we're getting the guys out there that are just going to give us a gravy little report here to make this look good. We want to know too, because if you guys don't buy it, we're going to buy it. All right. So what we're doing, we're going to scroll through this. I'm not going to read through everything. Right here, he gives us a little bit of the bigger defective items. Okay. So you can scroll through this whole list if you want. He's going to break it down step by step for you. All the things to be looking for in the deal. Here's a picture of some of these components that he's pointing out on the basement. This is some heating and cooling information about the units in there. A lot of information here, guys. A great thing for you to do if you're brand new is you take this report, okay, and this video tour, which I'm going to pull up for you guys here in a second, and you get this to a contractor, okay? And that contractor then, if they have 20 minutes, you can even skip past this. So we do a little intro from our guy who put it under contract on our team. You go over here, playback speed. If you're seasoned or your guy's seasoned, they click it at 1.4. and you walk through the video, okay? So we're not gonna watch the whole video today. I just wanna show you guys this is the process that I go through step by step. So first thing I'm doing, looking at this inspection report. Second thing I'm doing, I'm going and watching the video and I'm looking for some of these things that are pointed out in the inspection report. The other thing I do is I go over here to this property info sheet. So this is, again, just more specifics about the house, okay? So this is gonna tell me, all right, we got a single family house here, beds, baths, lot size, a little bit about the foundation, year it was built. Here's some other features, okay? Owner occupied. All right, great. Here's the assessor data card if you want to look at that. There's photos. Again, we just kind of summarize a lot of the information in here. Here's when it has to close by. Again, a lot of information in here for you to look through, but it's just kind of a quick snapshot of overall the property and the details, okay? Then what I do, I go back, I look at the comparable properties, all right? Now, this is another great feature. We provide you guys with all the comparables that we use when we're running our numbers to decide if this is something we want to put under contract, okay? And we give you guys the same comps that we use. These are literally the same comps that we run our numbers on. And then Reese from our team, a lot of times he'll put some notes under here. So he says, not a lot of great comps in this town because it's on an acre. So it's pretty rare that you're going to be in town on over an acre. The one that he's referring to here, great comp, bought, not recently updated, one less bathroom and a smaller garage. So make some adjustments there. It might not be the best one. You may have to give ours more value than this one, okay? I still encourage everybody, even though we give you guys this link to the comps, I still encourage you to do your own comparables, all right? Because I could ask 10 different appraisers, 10 different real estate agents, 10 different investors, and they're all gonna probably tell me a different after repair value, all right? And that's really the most important number in this whole thing is what can I resell this thing for once I'm done doing the rehab that I wanna do to it, okay? Now, one thing about ARVs, guys, the ARV we put in here is typically gonna be what is this property's highest and best use value, all right? If you're looking at this thing and you're saying, man, as is, I think I could just buy this thing and relist it at 240. Great. Then your ARV is actually 240, but then your rehab estimate needs to reflect that, right? So I'm going to show you guys what we're planning to do to it to get to this $290,000 ARV. In fact, we did some things once we got into the property that we might even be able to take it over 300 now, which I'm pretty excited about. So I click that link. That's going to bring me to these comparables. Okay, so this is the one that Reese is referring to. That's probably the best comparable. So let's click on it and see why he thinks this is the best one for us to look at. So we got a 3-bed, 1-bath. So we already have more bathrooms in this. Square footage is pretty similar. So that's something else I'm looking at. Okay. And we're going to read this just on 1.1 acres at the edge of Manitowoc. So very similar lot size, right? So we've got a lot of things here going for us. I could reasonably say this is a good one to give me. I know I'm going to be above this number is what I'm looking at. If this one sold for 260, I'm going to be above that. I'm looking at the roof on this as well. It might look a little, well, maybe it is newer, but I'm just going to kind of breeze through these pictures and I'm going to look at the finishes here. Okay, so we got some carpet in there, a little bit older style. They did some nice paint to this. Flooring's decent, but there's no cabinets here. What's going on? Oh, there they are. Okay, they're all over on this wall, but kind of a weird layout, right? This is kind of a weird layout of a kitchen. Kitchens, baths are what sells the houses. That's fine. This bath is okay. Okay, you got some first floor laundry. All right. Again, decent house. Nice house, but I think when we're done with what we're planning to do to ours, we're going to have a better house. Okay, I think this is an additional storage, workshop kind of a thing. Maybe needs to be tore down. Is that what they're calling the garage? No, that can't be the garage. All right. Oh yeah, they got a little one stall attached garage. Okay. So I like this one. I think this is a base. This would tell me I know I'm not going to be under this number most likely. Okay. So I go back. I'm going to look at what's our highest one. Well, this is our highest comp. Okay. So let's see what this one is. This one, 3-bed, 2-bath, a little bit bigger square footage. All right. We've got a 2-stall attached garage, brick ranch. So that's typically going to be worth more than what we have with a 2-story. All right. Let's see. We've got 5 additional garage spaces. So more garage spaces. Let's see if we have a lot size here. Newer built. Okay. Estimated age. I'm going to go down here. I can't find the lot size. I probably missed it. Where is my lot size? Oh, okay. 0.83 acres. So decent sized lot. We still got a bigger lot here. Let's see what the finishes look like. Okay, so here's that extra garage. 2 garages. Okay, inside. Woo. By the way, guys, if you're flipping and you see this, just rip those babies right out. That is the antithesis of old house. You got a chain going to your outlet from the light. Nice dinner table here. Really like that. Nice feature. Yeah, this thing's pretty outdated. So even though we're at 320, we've got a better style of house with the ranch style. We've got more garage space, smaller lot, a little bit bigger square footage, but the house is quite outdated. Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm not gonna throw this, out with. Okay, and some of that square footage might be beneath grade. Let's see. because that would devalue this a little bit. Let's see if they list that here. It just says total. Sometimes it'll break it out for me on the basement, what that square footage is. I don't see that in here. Again, I can spend some more time, but either way, I feel pretty good about this. Is definitely some of the square footage finished. So I think we're going to be fine. Our square footage above grade is probably going to be similar on ours. I feel pretty good about a comparable on this. I think updated, our house could be up in this neck of the woods. Okay. So these are some of the sold comparables that we pulled. Another way, if you don't have access to MLS, which is what we're using here, you can just use Zillow. Okay, so I pulled Zillow up. Now I'm looking also for what's my competition out there right now. So if I put this market or this house on the market today, who am I competing with that's a similar house? Okay, so here's a couple of the ways to do this. I just put Manitowoc in here. Our property is right in this neck of the woods somewhere. I don't have it exactly dialed in, but I know we're on, I think we're on 11th. What are we on? 13th. So I got 10th, I got 14th. I'm somewhere in here, right? So I'm putting for sale, beds and baths. I left it blank for now just to see what we get of properties that are for sale. And then I go to these other filters, and you're going to see on here, a lot of these I just left. I didn't change any of this when I came in here. I went down to the square footage. Now, what I typically try to do if I'm doing MLS comparables, I'm looking at about 300 square feet below what my subject property is, and I want to search for about 300 square feet above what my subject property is. So if we go back to our property info sheet, this one we have 1,324 square feet. So in Zillow, it gives you ranges you can use. So in our ranges, we selected 1,000 square feet, and we went up to 1,750. Pretty good range there to see what we can come up with. Lot size, I wanted to be more than just a city lot. So I gave us at least a half an acre to compare it to, up to 5 acres. Now, if this map was full of properties, I would start narrowing some of this down to be closer to what ours actually is. But I've only got one property that came up. You can do the same thing now under sold, and then you can change, see, we got all that. You can change the how long back you went. Sold in the last, I would go back 6 months. If you don't get a lot of action in 6 months, then you want to go 12 months back. Okay. So these are a couple of ways you can start running comparables. You want to try to be in the same area. So I usually look for bigger roads like this. If this is a divider, if I don't know this area very well, I'm going to say that this is probably a different vibe than this is here. Okay. So if I just pull this one up, this is the one we looked at on our comps. Okay, that's in the similar area. This one, 353. Again, ranch house looks kind of like a modular house maybe. Same square footage, 350 though. So again, if I said, man, if this thing was updated inside, this is a pretty good ceiling for us because this lot size, big lot in the city, this is a pretty good comparable. We're going to deduct from the 350 because we don't have the ranch style, okay? So we're going to deduct from our value. We're going to say, you know, we're probably not going to hit 350 with it, but we're probably in the threes here, okay? Probably in the threes. Now they got a little outbuilding here as well and some other things. The downside to looking at Zillow for sold is if I click on this, that's the only thing it gives me. I don't have other pictures to go off of, all right? So that's what we got there, okay. Now, I'm going to go back to my for sale, and we got one out in the country a little bit. So again, we're going to take this one with a grain of salt. It's out in the country a little bit. You might get more value for that from certain buyers for being in the country. First thing I notice when I look at this, active offer, no bump. That means we have an offer on it. We don't know what the offer is, and maybe it's 330. They did a price cut, so I'm going to assume that somebody didn't come in and offer above this, but we know 330, maybe they offered 320. I don't know. This roof looks pretty old, so I'm guessing there's going to be some kind of concession for the roof. We got 3-bed, 1-bath, 1,200 square feet. Same style of house. This is a split level house. So this is great. This is a great comparable. Lot size, over an acre lot. This is great. Okay. It's fenced in, so you're going to get a little bump for that. 2-car detached garage. So overall, this is looking like a very good comp. It just happens to be out in the country a little bit, okay? Now, good news is we don't have to worry about a well and septic on ours. which they do. All right, so scroll through these. Okay, nicely updated here. Yeah, that's beautiful. Good job, whoever did this remodel. This is a good ARV for us, okay? Now again, this is split level, so you'll see this. This looks like a basement. This is probably just another level of the house, but it's gonna be very similar to what we have. So I think we're gonna be at least 300 or above based on this guy. Again, it's gonna depend on where this thing actually sells at. Being in the country a little bit, it's probably gonna give it a little bit of a lift versus being right in, but I think we're 300, maybe above. So we said 290 in our advertising. I'll run it at 290, but I think realistically we can get over $300,000. Okay. So now what I'm using a program called Flipper Force. So what I do is I take this information. Now you'll notice this isn't accurate. This is just information they pull from whatever public record they have or whatever analyzed. So you can go in and update that if it's important to you. But this is going to tell me I already pre-ran the numbers. It's telling me it's estimating $36,000, almost $37,000 in profit. Let's figure out how we got there. Okay, so when I click on this, we're gonna have an ARV again. This is where all the numbers start with when we're running flips. 290, I'm just gonna go with the 290. If we get over 300, awesome. Now we're making $45,000, $50,000 on this thing. Okay, so I plug that in, hit the next thing. Purchase price, we advertise 195. Let's put 195 in there. Okay, let's see if this deal works at the numbers that we advertised. Okay, here's our rehab cost. Now, what I did is I had our project manager go through, and actually he's gone through the property physically after we purchased it and put these numbers in here, and he's given us a detailed estimate. Okay, so he broke down, what are we going to do to this thing? Here's all of the expenses, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but this is a pretty cool feature of Flipper Force that you can put a detailed scope in here. If you're just running numbers and you're not wanting to go, full blown putting the details in here, you can just run a lump sum, it's called. So you may just say, oh, I think it's going to be about $30,000. You don't have to put the detail in there. You can just put in your $30,000. Okay, but he got it detailed. All right. Now we're going to go into fixed costs. So their calculator is pretty great. Again, you can do lump sum. I like doing the detailed on this. These are the real costs. Okay, so for us, this is an estimate. This is about accurate on the title insurance. A loan fee, this is what we pay our commercial or community bank. Every time we do a flip loan, they charge us $2,000. So I leave that in there. You can add additional buying costs in here if you need to. Usually our brokerage that we flip these through charges a brokerage fee. Then down here, how long do we think we're gonna hold this? Renovation period, it's really actually only gonna run us about 2 months, but we put 3 in here. Sales period, 2 months. Total hold time, really important, 5 months. And the reason that's important, that's going to calculate out a lot of your holding costs. Okay, so we already put the monthly property taxes in, rough estimate of these items. That's our total holding cost for the 5 months. Then we're going to have selling costs. You're going to see here sales commission 4%. Most real estate agents charge or they advertise 6%. I will tell you, if you're an investor and you're paying 6%, you're paying way too much. All right, so that is something you need to negotiate with real estate agents. No disrespect to my agents out there, but there's a ton of agents that need listings. That's where they make a lot of their money. And a lot of them are willing to negotiate with you, especially if you're somebody who's planning to do more than just one of these. If you're going to come back and you're going to be doing multiple deals, negotiate that sales commission down and make yourself more competitive on your offers and more profit at the end of the day. Okay. Seller assisted closing costs, that's on the back side. Home warranty, this is if we throw a home warranty in, I budget for it just in case we do. You don't have to, but it depends on the market. If it's a buyer's market, you may want to throw a home warranty in there. If it's a seller's market, you won't need to have that in your listing. All right. Then we go to the loan, guys, and this is really important. The cheaper money you can get, the more competitive you can be on your offers, and the more deals you can do. Now, I told you nobody offered on this deal. If these numbers become true, just think about that. Because people probably had too much in their financing costs, or they weren't confident in their rehab numbers or their ARV, they're missing out on $36,000. How many deals come across your inbox or from other wholesalers or advertised on MLS that you pass on because you think that the numbers don't work? When in reality, it's probably because you don't have your financing costs cheap enough, you don't have your rehab budgets dialed in, or you don't know how to run comps. You're missing out on these numbers all day long. All right. So you go through this little calculator here. I put 100% LTV in here because we have a lender that will lend up to 80% of the after repair value. So I just say we're going to borrow 100% of the money. That's why those are there, but adjust it for yourself. Down here, your interest rate. This is about what we've been getting at the time we're recording this from our commercial bank for interest rate, but again, adjust that accordingly. Here's how many months we're going to make payments on it. And that's the financing cost. Now watch what happens if I change this to, say, 12%. Now we just lost $6,000. Okay. Now if I add some points in here, let's say I pay 3 points. Now we're down to $25,000. So again, those numbers make a big difference when you're analyzing deals. And that is maybe the reason why a lot of people did not offer on this deal. All right. So now it's going to tell me here, I want to make $30,000 is what I said on all my flips. This one, it says I can pay up to $201,000 for this deal if all of my other numbers are correct, and I've got myself a deal. All right, guys, so that is how we run our numbers, okay? So if you're struggling with getting even access to deals, join our buyers list. Go to wisconsindiscountproperties.com. You just plug your information in there. It's free. You get added to the list, and you'll start getting access to information like this in your inbox every single week. If you got some value out of this video, guys, as always, hit subscribe and tune in because we're going to keep pumping videos out, and we'll see you on the next one.